Hello, and welcome to the Monkey Nut Punch podcast. Stories of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. I wasn't killed by Keith, so yes, there he is. Actually, as punishment, you're now little Keith.
I thought you were in the Phantom Zone. I thought I put you in the Phantom
Zone.
Zone. I thought it was my turn this week.
Oh, dude, no. You're being little Keith. Hang on.
I look up to him.
Little Keith.
I just need a Nige. Even Nige on like a normal size, I could still go. I look up to him, but I look down to him.
Saying that, no, I have right before we start. Sorry, guys, we started, but there's something I forgot to say. There's an Apple TV show called Hijack with Idris Elba, and the lead hijacker is who I'd have playing Nigel in the Hollywood adaptation of my life.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely
perfect
right.
Casting. It's got that touch of psycho that Nigel's got.
Yeah, you are absolutely right.
He's a great actor too.
Yeah, Utopia is where I first came across him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's interesting in this. In the third episode was quite good actually. We're going to talk about that, I think.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, right. Back to you.
Back to me. So we've got. I want to talk about Star Trek Enterprise because I haven't been too well, and I've just been watching TV on my arse. And I went through the last 2 seasons of Enterprise, which are the best seasons. I'll be honest with you. And I got some thoughts. Funny thoughts actually. And then we were talking about Hijack on Apple TV, which we've been watching. And Keith wants to say that he watched Guardians of the Galaxy. And I want to hear his thoughts on that. And then we've got Superman Legacy casting, which is yeah.
We should mention Indiana Jones, but not in a good way.
All right, let's do Indiana. Hang on, let's do Indiana Jones. Right. No one I know, apart from a lady called Sue at work, is remotely interested in the Indiana Jones. She asked me, "Have you seen Indiana Jones?" Because she would probably want to know if it was any good. To which my reply was, "No."
Look. Do you know what? I was a little bit ill, right? And I binged all 4 movies. Okay, and in fact, watching all 4 back to back, right? Still love Last Crusade. Still my favorite because you just Sean Connery and Harrison Ford. That pairing was just perfectly cast, and I really enjoyed it. But you know what? Crystal Skull ain't that bad. I know the whole nuclear fridge thing, but there are moments in the other movies.
Right. It's the inflatable out of the aircraft, isn't it?
Well, no, there's other moments.
It's the inflatable. That's the one thing that you can compare to nuclear fridge.
No, there are other moments. There are throughout. I mean, he is pretty fucking bulletproof throughout the whole thing. But look, I get it why people are pissed about the nuclear fridge, and you watch the way that fucking okay, take the radiation out of it. He could have still died because the way that fucking fridge hits the ground and goes over like that, it would have shattered every fucking bone in his body. But he's got Teflon coated bones. In his body. I said body, not body.
You said body. You said every bone in his body.
That's my microphone distorting. It would have broken everybody. It would have broken in his body as well. I mean, we know he's got Teflon coated bones and everything. But look, actually, when you watch that film, it did have the feel of an Indiana Jones film. It did.
I think
every clip I see of the 5th one, and Lucasfilm is on like this fucking like mad thing of recent clips. Come on, you've got to come and see it. It really is an Indiana Jones film. Trouble is to keep putting that fucking Phoebe Waller-Bridge in it, and then the one when she goes, she says something. He says something about women. He goes, "What? Like me, smart and beautiful?" And I'm like, "You are neither." I'm sorry. I know it's not like politically correct these days to talk about looks, but you look like a horse, love.
Oh, hang on, Keith.
We are working.
I think we're only live on Facebook.
No, we're live on
YouTube.
We are.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
I've got it. I'm checking. So,
that's fine. It just was like, we're not live. No one can see us.
Tanish, look at my Facebook. I posted a link because I'm clever like that. You see.
Look at my face. I've posted a link.
I've posted the YouTube.
Hang on a second. Let me just try this. I
Facebook.
can't see a link.
Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
I know that
You missed the book part of it out. I looked at your face. I felt a bit sick, I'll be honest with you, but I can't tell if that's from last week or your face.
Thank you. Okay.
I think I'm a little loopy.
I can't be asked to go and watch this film.
I was, as I said to you before we started, I was going to watch it this morning so we could have something to talk about, but my cinema is not showing. Sorry, they're showing it, but there's only like 2 screenings today on a Sunday. I can go and watch Into the Spider-Verse and Mario, but I can't go and watch. Maybe there's 3 showings. I'll say there's 3 showings just to be on the safe side. But I can't watch it. I don't know what's going on there. You're right, Keith.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out. Could not find your link on YouTube. Had to go via Facebook, but it's saying YouTube.
No, that's fine. She probably couldn't find the channel. Don't worry.
Okay.
If she had a problem, she'd burst through the door and shoot me with a Nerf gun like she did last time.
The thing within, I mean, yeah, I've heard it's been taken off a load of cinemas in the US. It only did what, 70 million or something. It hasn't done very well at all. And look, I want to see an Indiana Jones film, and I hate the first. As a child, is a washed-up old man that just wants to die. What did they've done that with Han
Everyone.
Solo. They've done that with Luke Skywalker. Now they've done it with Indiana Jones. How did you think the people reacted over The Last Jedi? How did they react over Han Solo getting killed? What fucking moron at Lucasfilm thought, okay, 3rd time's a charm?
Shall I go to ChatGPT and ask it to write us a story for Indiana Jones?
It would write a better one.
You know it would do a better job. This is why they're scared of AI. Because they'll just go... Because the executive producer would just sit there and goes, just to secretary, type in Indiana Jones film into thingy. Because add some data in there and it would come up with a better story.
There's a reason why the writer's strike is into a 3rd month. Because the people that are on strike are shit. I'm sorry, but there is a lack of creative writing now in Hollywood. I mean, as I said, I watched all 4 of these movies. I actually enjoyed them all. I know there's moments in Indy 4. I know that people don't like the Crystal Skull. Actually, having watched all 3 and then watching that one straight after, it does feel like an indie film. And he's still Indiana Jones in that. The thing that I really don't like about the Crystal Skull was actually what's her face as the Russian baddie. I didn't think she was overhammed in that. She overhammed it.
So my first problem is they've got this alien skull. It's clearly an alien skull, and they keep going, they tied their head. It's a fucking alien skull. That's number 1 problem. Number 1 problem. Next one, Shia LaBeouf's face. Just don't want to see it.
Well, actually, I mean, in this film, he was quite good. But again, right, in the 5th film, they've killed him. Again, why do we want dead son?
Hang on.
I mean,
do you know? Hang on, hold on a second. And they screwed it up. You know why? Did it off screen.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing.
Opener.
Han Solo and Indiana Jones stories are almost exactly the same. In terms of going to the dark side, your son might as well have died. Right? It's exactly the fucking same. There's no creativity there. There's no uniqueness. They've done exactly the same thing. And for what? Make money? You're not made any money. The film has bombed. And why? Because you're creatively bankrupt. How does the head of Lucasfilm, I'm not even going to say her name, how does that person still have a job? How?
She must suck really good dick. That's it. I saw my own conclusion. She must know the shape and size of every producer's penis in Hollywood.
She must have something on every single person.
I've reached the conclusion because at one point you would have, if you were clever, it's like you can't fire her, but you just shuffle her off to one side. Yeah, and you do what the Japanese do, where they have these kind of punishment rooms for useless members of staff, which they put in there to force them to resign. You do the same with her. It's very simple. You make her, you promote her to the board, and you make her in charge of food and beverages. Just cock that up. But Something along those lines.
You know, if you were working in any other business and you made products that constantly flopped, you would think after the third time that the board would go, okay, we need a new person. Yet they haven't done that yet.
All right, hang on. So the thing is, there is a critical failure for films, and there is a financial failure for films. Star Wars, Force Awakens, from me, felt like Star Wars the greatest hits. I didn't like it. You know I didn't like it. You and Nigel were all over that like a rash.
My mum didn't like it either. She said the same thing as you.
Good. She had fucking good taste, that woman.
She was right. Now that I go back to it, I think it was rose tinted glasses, wasn't it?
It was, because it literally was like, it was no, when you have a band and they're about to break up, about to end their thingy, and they bring out the greatest hits CD. It's that. That's what it was. Crikey, I lost my... Right, so hang on a second. I'm going to go box office mojo. Let's have a look. Cause...
I don't understand it. I don't understand how they thought that this film was going to do anything other than flop. You know, they don't understand the audience. It's clearly produced by a gay person, because every gay man in Hollywood seems to have a thing for fucking Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I mean, they've given her Tomb Raider. That's going to be a success. They've given a Tomb Raider. Can you believe that? And if the rumors are correct about the new game, she's a lesbian. So I mean, just
I'm not right. So they rebooted Tomb Raider a while back, yeah.
Which was quite.
I was quite happy. The first one was a good one. The second one was okay. The third one kind of lost me. I don't know what it was. It was after that I was like, I'm kind of done with Tomb Raider. You do need to. Part of me is like, you do need to kind of like reboot it, age her up maybe. Easy way of doing it. You don't have to actually reboot it. Say what's there and age her up and say that she's been doing more of this stuff since then, and put her at a point where she's a more developed character and she's a much more proficient Tomb Raider. Makes sense. Okay, don't mind that. I actually like Lara Croft was in that kind of Nuts magazine era, so she was like confident, sexy woman, which Hollywood hates. She's always had that come on boys, wink wink. She used a sex appeal to get what she wanted, which is fine. If you got it, flaunt it, but that seems to be like a big fucking no-no. Like all of a sudden she should be wearing a burqa and doing these things, according to Hollywood. I don't even think fucking Islam would look at that and go,
male masculine heroes in Hollywood anymore. Look what they've done to Nick Fury. Look what they've done to Luke Skywalker. Look what they did to Han Solo. And Indiana Jones.
I'm never going anywhere near Secret Invasion. Do you know why?
Why?
Did you hear the horrible line they said about Winston Churchill?
No. Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah, the guy who spotted the Nazi threat, told everyone it was Nazi. No one listened to him, and then fixed said Nazi threat.
It's the populist thing. Yeah, Churchill was a product of his time, right? By today's standards, seriously, yes, he probably was racist, but he was a product of his times, right? And arguably, we would all be speaking German, and there would be no Jews left in the world if it wasn't for Churchill's thing. Arguably,
if you put him on balance, did he put more bad into the world or more good into the world? And he put more good into the world, I'm afraid.
But people
don't see that like that. Oh, he did one wrong thing. That's it. He's gone. Like a fucking child. Look at things. It's
cancel culture. And yes, I did see the line in it, and it made me cringe. You just can't. They can't allow us to have a male hero. They did it with James Bond, killing him off on screen as well. That was Phoebe Waller-Bridge, by the way. I know you and I have disagreed on this, but I don't. You can change Bond, you can't kill him, and that has ruined it for me.
Do you know what? I would have done is I would have put another edit in there. So another bit where he's standing near the silos and he's about to get blown up. Yeah, you see him standing near the silos. It cuts back to the silos. He's gone. We don't know where he's gone. It's a mystery. We can solve it in the next film. Nah, fuck it. Kill him off. Just kill him off, because fucking Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe was James Bond.
Daniel Radcliffe, that would be interesting. I
That would be
liked
brilliant.
I liked
Sorry.
Skyfall. I hope Henry Cavill gets it. I hope they are wise enough now to give Henry Cavill that. He deserves it. He should be Bond. I know that he won't be because they're going to cast a black lesbian blonde. Because um, but I think Henry Cavill deserves it, and I'll be interested for that. But the trouble is they've tainted it slightly by killing him on screen. You now have to recast everything, and you could have kept certain people on. Like what's his face as M was quite good. I mean, I still love Judi Dench as M. There was just something that first film when Goldeneye, where she turns around to the naval admiral, she goes, "You don't think I've got the balls for this job?" I still love that fucking
right.
line.
This is. I always like this. That's a strong female protagonist that doesn't is not a man with a pair of tits.
No,
she's still a woman, but
she was fucking fantastic. I mean, I love Judi Dench anyway. I adore Judi Dench. She is a national treasure. But I bloody loved her in this, and it always saddens me. I love Skyfall. I love it. I hate it that they killed her off. But what's his face as M after was good, and you could have kept that cast on. The guy that took over Q was really good. Right, you could have done what they did with the other Bond films, right, where you keep the original supporting cast and you just recast Bond. It works, right? Now you've killed him, you have to recast everything, and that doesn't work for me because actually Moneypenny was quite good. Yes. You could have kept that. But anyway, again, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, right? This woman is she kills everything. I'm sorry, she was freaking nauseating as the droid in Solo. I am not going to watch Indiana Jones. I'm just not giving you my money. I'm not going to go and watch another one of my heroes destroyed. I'm not doing it, right? I love Indiana Jones. I recently watched them again. I realized I'd forgotten how much I love these films. I fell in love with them again. I am not watching another one of my heroes destroyed by people who are creatively bankrupt, and that is what you are.
Do you want to hear something funny? At the moment, my local cinema, they're rerunning all the Christopher Nolan films.
Shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that's about.
Because of the run up to Oppenheimer. The problem is with Oppenheimer is it's not going to be a typical Nolan story. This is going to be his Oscar one that he's going for, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This is not an Interstellar, an Inception, Batman Begins. It's not going to be action, not going to be like Dunkirk or whatever. It's going to be good, but the downside is it's biopic. So they're rerunning all these things. Interstellar, I think they've got Interstellar on this Tuesday or next Tuesday in the cinema. They put on a second showing. I reckon that's taking place of Indiana Jones.
Wouldn't surprise me. Do you know, I heard a rumor, right? He keeps saying, and I know, and it's not a rumor. He said this, right? And I call bullshit on this because there's no way he says there are no CGI effects in Oppenheimer. I'm sorry. I do not believe you set off an atom bomb. I just do not believe.
No. There's one director. There's one director who would set off an atom bomb. That's him.
Yeah, well, I'll give you that, but I just don't think you would be able to do it. I'm waiting for that to be confirmed because I've heard it. I'm calling bullshit. I think it's a wind up.
If the trick is to see if it's been endorsed by the US military, because if it has.
Yeah. I'm going to go and see it. That is a film I'm going to go and see. Going to see Mission Impossible this week because, again, I'm hearing really good things about it. And Haley Atwell.
It's good. Well, what do you call it? It's all the goodwill from Top Gun.
Yeah, well, and it's got that, and it's got Rebecca.
Oh, hang on.
And it's got Haley Atwell.
Hold on. I need a Haley Atwell. Anyway, you get the idea.
You do need a Haley Atwell one. You do need a
Haley Atwell one.
You do.
Anyway,
yeah.
So that's right. So this is the thing I wanted to explain to you about Kathleen Kennedy, because there are critical failures and financial failures. She's not. Everyone harps on about financial failure, blah blah blah. Let me just I don't get the entire screen actually.
She's
All right,
not a
so
financial failure. I argued this with you a few years ago when we were talking purely about Star Wars, and I'm not putting Star Wars into this, by the way. But we spoke about this, and I said it was a financial success, and you were on my side. The argument was reversed. You are right, but Solo lost
yeah,
money,
right.
so
Let's see.
Solo was
Hang
a
on. Let's
flop.
just see. Right. So Solo. So the thing I heard is they keep lying about their bloody budgets. All right. So Solo. What's Solo down as? Oh, I've not got a numpad on this keyboard. Shit. Um, so it's like what 275 million pounds. Fuck me. Sorry, they are spending way too much on films.
Well, that's because they remade
Yeah.
the entire damn film. I mean, half of it had been
Right.
shot, hadn't it?
So hang on a second. So let's put it back in there, and we go times, and it needs to make about to break even. It needs to do like 2.5 times its budget. Yeah, that covers marketing costs, cinema things, all that jazz. Yeah. So Solo lost money. Oh, that feels good to say. Solo lost money. They made what 400, and it should have needed to come back because of the massive budget at about 700 million before it made money. Just approximately, just for to keep things simple.
You add another 25 million onto that. That's what's in indie cost. You add in all the marketing budget, which is not in that budget, right?
Right.
It's going
No,
to
that's
lose
why
money.
you times it by. That's why you times it by 2.5.
It's not going to make any money. So, right, but the thing is, she's alien. You look at that, right? What you cannot say is a critical success or not, or you can really gauge on how many subscribers is all of the Star Wars stuff that they've done on Disney Plus, or any, that's the only Lucasfilm
Right.
stuff that's on there.
So the problem when you get to the streaming stuff is it's measured in different metrics, and it's funny because I heard the best metric is probably held by Amazon because they're a very data-driven company, which is fantastic because they're looking at their staff and they're going, this Lord of the Rings hasn't driven many people to Amazon, if that makes any sense, because it's like they look at all the TV series and they see what people do, what they do, because they think that ask for Amazon Prime subscription, you go and shop on Amazon. Yeah, they want to keep you inside the ecosystem, the Amazon ecosystem, as much as possible, and they think by drawing you to the TV elements of it, it does that. But they're now going through the numbers, and there's stories where they're like, kind of, these things aren't tallying up. So, what was the budget for Solo?
300 million. Indie's 300 million, although it doesn't say there, but it's 300 million because it had a load of reshoots.
Okay, so
750.
Yeah, 750. It's probably a bit more than that. Did you hear that Doctor Strange only made money because of a tax rebate in the UK?
Yeah. But I've also heard that Benedict Cumberbatch is done with the role.
Don't blame him. I think he said something. He said that they were filming Avengers somewhere in Washington. He hadn't heard anything about it. He went, "Oh, fuck it then."
Well, the rumor is that they're not done with the multiverse. That they've realised that Marvel are not doing so well. And the rumor is,
but you wouldn't say.
Well, the rumor is they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and the way they're doing it is the multiverse, which
it's a bit shit.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, the other rumor is, because if you watch right to the end of Guardians 3, it does say that the legendary Star-Lord will return, and that's apparently going to be in a Nova Corps thing. But as we're on to the subject of Marvel, shall we talk a little bit about Guardians?
Yes, we'll talk about Guardians. Hang on a second.
Yeah, hi, Biffa, buddy. Rings of Power.
I can't argue. I cannot argue with that. I'm sorry. I really cannot argue with that. I usually have something like some kind of a point to rotate around or pivot around.
And I'm not rubbing it in. I genuinely wish this. When we were just before this aired, and Biffa was really sort of looking forward to it, I wish you were right, and I wish I'd been wrong. I genuinely wish it had been good. It just never was going to be. But anyway.
On the bright side, I enjoyed one of the trailers.
Well,
That's
you
all I
said,
got from
well,
it.
the Indiana Jones 5 trailer was pretty fucking good, and look how that turned out.
I didn't say it was pretty good, but I did also
You said
compared
that
it
was
to
a good trailer.
Prometheus.
Yes, you did.
Prometheus was a good trailer.
Yeah, no,
I said
will
it was
give you
like
that,
Prometheus, where Prometheus gave a good trailer, but the film.
I finally.
There's nothing wrong with submitting the trailers. If you find the trailer entertaining, you find the trailer entertaining.
I'm gonna
Doesn't mean the film's gonna be any good. Sorry.
I'm gonna make a comment here. I wish I'd had time to see Guardians 3 in cinema, because it's definitely way better than the second one. Definitely better than the second one. It's a fucking emotional roller coaster, this one, right? Now, the thing is, right, I have a problem with animal cruelty, and every time that scene fucking came on, I needed to go and hug my dog, right? Because I just have I found that difficult, right? I loved Cosmo. I fucking loved Cosmo. You take that bad. I'm not a bad dog. And it was just like, it's exactly how my dog responds when you go, bad dog. And you can almost fucking, if you put a voice in it, you can't say I'm a bad dog. I'm a good dog. I'm a good and I love the bit where he finally says, in there, oh, you're a good dog. And then, that's exactly what my dog does.
It's what I think. I genuinely think that they should replace Kang with a High Evolutionary as the bad guy. I hated him. He was great.
Dude, I have never cheered that. Right, this is what I mean, right? Every time I complain about the bad guy, I hate a bad guy with a passion, and I feel an emotion about it, and he never gets a good death, right? That's how you kill a bastard. Right? That was so fucking satisfying.
Keith, he didn't die.
Well, he does. Didn't die. Well,
no, because if you watch in the background, Drax has got him over his shoulder.
Okay. Well,
sorry to burst your bubble.
Bad.
His face was already fucked up. But I love the fact that it was like you pulled it off. That the kids, cracky.
Hang on, right?
Kids would have seen that.
What do you mean Drax has got him? Where?
Right. When they're exiting the spaceship, they're getting everyone off the spaceship, yeah?
Yeah.
Right at the end, they got nowhere next door. You see them coming through the tunnel. Drax is in the background. He's got someone over his shoulder. Right, it's a High Evolutionary.
Let's have a look. Because, I just so happen to... Of course I've got it. But I'm
going to spend the next 20 minutes trying to find it. It's
No. I'm going to watch it. But I love the way they fuck him up at the end. No, you see, I don't see that.
Hang on.
I actually really enjoyed this film. Hang on.
This was where I got off the Marvel train. I think it's the best time to get off the Marvel train at this point.
I think you're right. I think it's a deer that he's got over his shoulder, although I don't see Drax with anything over his shoulder. Anyway, it's kind of... Look, the fact is, right, I like the fact that Peter at the end didn't fire the gun. Because, again, he wasn't worthy of a quick death. I mean, if he went down with the ship or he wasn't, the way they came in and completely fucking beat the living shit out of him. I love that.
So satisfying.
It was the most satisfying thing, and this is what I mean. When I hate somebody, as much as I hate them, a bit like fucking Expanse, when I hate somebody with that level of intensity, right, and I fucking hated this one, right, more than I hated anyone else, really, because of the animal shit, right? You just don't kill cute furry animals. You're just wrong if you do that, right? The level of intensity of emotion that I had, and I was just like, yes, like that. I've never done that with a movie like that before. I was like, fucking yes, that's what I want to see. That's the shit that you do, and they did it. So it was very satisfying. I liked it.
I'll be honest. You're right. They wasted. I was going to call him Magus. He's not Magus, is he? What's he called? Magus is his evil version.
He's Warlock. He's Adam
Warlock. Adam Warlock. Yeah. They wasted. I'll be honest with you. They wasted him in Endgame because he should have been the one who came back and wielded the glove because he would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
And he would have sorted all the shit out.
They look.
And he would have erased Tony Stark's kids.
I agree with you, but it's not a perfect movie by any
Oh no,
stretch.
God, no, no, no. There's a bit right where they're supposed to rescue a load of people, where they've been on their planet and they've been in their house and whatnot. He blows the planet up and they just fuck off.
Mm.
They just forget. And I'm like, didn't even send an overcourt or anyone to try and rescue him, or look down at the planet and go, "Whoa, fuck me, he's just killed all these people. What a
Mm.
bastard." Um, that's all they needed. Just them look out the window and go, "Look at the people he's murdered." That's all
Mm.
they had to do.
There's
That's
not. There are other
yeah,
moments. Yeah, I didn't like what they did to the what do they call it? The alternative Earth, whatever it was called. Um, didn't
Counter
like
Earth. That was
Counter
it.
Earth. That was it. I didn't like what they did there. And you're right. There was a lot of death that they didn't really acknowledge. Did like the kind of organic planet starship thing that they went on, and what's his face's cameo in that was really quite good.
Oh, Nathan Fillion.
Nathan
Nathan
Fillion
Fillion, I
was,
think's been in all of them.
he has, but he was actually Nathan Fillion's face in this one,
Yes, all
whereas
right.
um, I enjoyed that. I found Rocket's sort of backstory really tough to watch. Um, and I'm kind of, and I'm not going to lie, when he fucking found all those baby raccoons, I was crying like a little girl. It was an emotional roller coaster, this one. Um, but I enjoyed it. I liked Sylvester Stallone, cameo in it. I liked the Ravagers in it. I like Nowhere with two great big guns in the eyes. That was kind of cool. Look, it was a good movie, and I don't think I'd ever say that about a Marvel movie again, really, with the exception of Spider-Man. And I haven't enjoyed a
That's
Marvel movie
Sony.
since Infinity War, with the exception of Spider-Man. I haven't really enjoyed one like I enjoyed this. There are,
The next,
go
yeah,
on.
go on. I was going to say the next Marvel movie out is the Marvels, and I think everyone's going to look at that and go, Morbius was better.
I'm not going to comment on this until it finishes. All right, I'm trying. I'm just not going to comment on this at the moment because there were moments of Miss Marvel TV series that are not as egregious as people make out, and I think actually it's one of the better Disney Plus series, if you can say that, right? When you compare it to all the other, Miss Marvel was actually not that bad. She is actually quite likable, right? Whereas I get it that what's her face is not, and Monica Rambeau is morally morals are all over the fucking place. There's rumors that they're bringing about WandaVision for a season 2, but I think Marvel are fucked. I don't believe any of it actually. I think, I mean, I think they're fucked. I think Disney are fucked.
They've screwed the pooch royally. It's time to fire Kevin Feige. I'll be honest with you, I think Kevin Feige's going to get fired before Kathleen Kennedy. I put money on that. I really do, because I think he's cost them more money.
I think they're in big trouble, and I think they are creatively bankrupt, and live action remakes don't even work anymore of all your stuff because the live action remakes are all shit. So what are you going to do? You've got no writers because they're all on strike. You could just say fuck it and start employing writers that don't belong to this union, but that's not going to happen.
Did you hear
Deadpool 3
how Netflix?
gone.
Did you hear how Netflix are dealing with it?
How?
Apparently they're employing Korean writers, which means we might get quality stuff. We might actually get some quality. I'm just like, really? Because there's a lot of Korean stuff that I watched and I'm quite impressed by, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
Because they won't be on the same writing guild. So
look, if these writers, and there are, look, don't get me wrong, there's Tony Gilroy is part of the strike, and he's a good writer, right? And it's a shame that he is not writing for Andor. I now am not looking forward to it because I don't think it's going to be any good anymore. And it's the only bloody piece of Star Wars I was looking forward to. And I think it's going to be shit. Most of these writers are rubbish. There are just the people are not making good stuff anymore. Now there are a few things. There are exceptions, right? I commented just before we came on air. I'm actually quite enjoying Jack Ryan season 4. Didn't really enjoy season 2 and 3. I kind of like John Krasinski or whatever his name is as the Ryan role. It works in this kind of alternate universe thing, and his buddy with the guy that's playing Greer is quite good. Season 4 has genuinely been good. Right, it's got the guy from Ant-Man in it. Who's the Mexican dude that's like talking really fast? Michael Cena.
Okay.
Senna, what's the guy in Ant-Man who's really funny, who tells the story.
Who wasn't in Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yeah. So he is another one of what's his face's famous sort of characters other than Ryan, and he's playing that role in this. Again, actually quite good. So the first 4 episodes have been really good. So if you want to watch a good sort of action spy series at the moment, season 4 of Jack Ryan's been really good.
Talking of action thrillers, let's talk about Hijack.
Yes. So I put you onto this, right? So 24, kinda.
6. It should be called 6.
Well, it's 7,
6,
isn't it? It's
all right, 7 out. But no, can't do 7 because 7's already been done.
Well, it is 7 hours long because what they right. So the flight from Dubai to England is 6.5 hours, right? So,
but there's a film called 7. That's why I'm saying you can't do 7. You have to do 6.
Well, they're calling it
6
Hijack, aren't they? But
yeah.
It's got me. I mean, the first 2 episodes were like, they're okay. I kind of like the fact that Gwen from Thingy turned up, and I like her.
Going from Torchwood, yes.
Yeah,
I was like,
the guy
that's
from...
nice. Right. Hang on a second. Were you gutted when they killed the Dubai air traffic controller?
Yes.
I was quite attached to that character. I barely knew him, and I'm like, oh, you've killed him, you bastard.
And they killed the poor girl as well. I'm intrigued what's going on there, right? Blatantly something going on with the son. Blatantly something going on with the son. I've never liked the actress that plays the mum. Never liked her. Didn't like her. I think I got really irritated by her in Doctor Who, and that was it. I've never liked her since. Right?
Yeah.
And so
that was 2005, Keith. That's
I know. I haven't liked her for a very long time. I'm sorry. There was just something about that actress. I just don't gel with her. And you sort of said Idris Elba is a bit of a dick in this. Well,
yes, he is.
Everyone
says he's a dick.
Everyone
says he's a dick.
He's kind of got something going on there. I think he's trying to save everybody, and he's doing it in a way. I don't think he is a dick. I think he's acting as a dick. I don't think he is a dick.
I think he is. Do you know what I think he is? I think he's the mastermind behind it all.
Well, that would be the twist of the ultimate thing, wouldn't it? That would be the ultimate fucking twist.
I would love that. I don't think it's true. I would love that. Would be just a proper Kaiser Soze moment.
That would be a very cool
He did
twist.
He did all of that to get back with his wife.
But I think the hijack's over. So what's coming? Because I mean, he's blatantly not dead, right? I know that we saw Utopia dude load a real bullet into the gun, and he's kind of those first 2 episodes. He was just like he came across as a bit of an amateur. Now he's come across as a bit of a fucking psychopath, right? So I don't know. I'm intrigued by this and I'm enjoying it.
I don't think he's dead, and I think the reason I don't think he's dead is I think he is the fucking mastermind behind it all. Next episode, Wednesday. When the next episode happens, and the old guy with the white hair gets killed, I fucking called it, because you don't pay for Idris Elba to be in that and then bump him off that quickly.
No, he's not dead, right? I think the hijack is over, and I think something else is happening because there's obviously stuff going on in Dubai, right? This hijack right now. Why did they hijack the plane? It makes no fucking sense, right? Why are they trying to keep it secret? Makes no bloody sense.
And
are they going to drive the plane? Yeah.
Right. I'd just like to point out the most, how can I put it? The most unlikely thing is a Welsh hijacker.
There's this.
Boy, we're taking the plane.
Well,
doesn't work.
I'm sorry, I've labelled her Chav Girl, right? Chav Girl doesn't come across as a fucking bought-in kind of nut job that's going to crash it into the Houses of Parliament kind of person, right? She has no intention of dying, right? Neither does Jack the Lad, kind of old geezer, kind of bit gangster, bit of this, bit of that, used car salesman dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got the sort of Arab fella that does come across as a bit of a militant, right? And then like Utopia dude, who I thought was just like a bit of an amateur, is now a complete psychopath. So all of these characters are very different.
The actor's called Neil Maskell. Yeah, his name's Neil Maskell, and you
Brilliant.
don't hire him without him being a psychopath of sorts,
But
because
what
that's
was
what he
he in?
excels at.
He played a copper in something where he was a really nice dude, right?
That was
What was
Humans,
that?
I think.
That was it. That was
Humans.
it. He was a nice dude in that, right? So he is a bloody good character actor. He really is.
Oh,
Because he can play psycho really well, but he can play nice dude really well as well. And you don't see the two. You don't see the two. But
Right, hang on a second. I just want to go. I need to go just off the beaten path for a moment. Did you see any of the US's version of Utopia?
a little bit, but it was nowhere near as good.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It was. I would have hired him to be Arby in the US version of it.
Yeah.
But it's like I watched the first scene in the first episode is incredibly disturbing, and it sets the tone for everything. And they forget that was what happened. You set the tone for everything, and all of a sudden, boom. Do you know right? Hang on a second. Do you remember you had RB and you had, oh, what was his name? You had the guy who like dressed like the teddy boy. What was his name? What was his name? I'm gonna find him now.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Lee. His name was Lee in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. Yeah.
Right. And there's a TV show called Motherland. Yeah, and they had a Halloween episode. And if you remember the character that they were after in the first season of Utopia, could you imagine what guy he was dressed as at Halloween?
Yep.
Mr. Rabbit.
Brilliant.
Because I watched that and I went, "Oh, that's a deep cut. That's a really deep cut there, and only I'm going to notice that."
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Um,
I mean, Utopia was cancelled way before it needed. I'm always gutted about Utopia because I really got into that.
right. So there's this. They people clipped the speech with, what's his name? John. He's got a sister, Cusack. John Cusack,
Yeah.
where he's talking about why they're using the virus, this, that, and the other. Yeah. Ian McDermott's speech is terrifying.
Yeah, but genius.
He goes. He does.
Genius
He goes from
casting.
Romanian. He goes from Romanian to English, and he becomes sinister as all hell. And then it's like,
Dude.
oh, the John Cusack. John Cusack didn't even fucking touch the sides.
It was genius casting Ian McDermott in that role. I mean, just fucking Emperor himself, right? The ultimate badass, the ultimate evil fucker, right? And they cast him brilliant. I mean, yeah, brilliant. It was genius. And it was cancelled way before its time. More of you people should have watched it. It's your fault.
I watched it.
No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to you. You didn't watch it. You know who you are. You didn't
If you're in
watch
the
it.
UK,
That's why
if you're in the UK, I'm sure you can get it from 4 on demand.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's still there.
I'm sure you can get it from 4 on demand. It is well worth the watch.
Yeah, it's genius.
And it's weird because it's very stylized and it's very clever in its approach to things. Going back to
Hijack, I think you're right. The pilot's going to get it because he's a bit of a bastard. I mean, he beat up that.
Part of I love that. I love that in the first episode because you usually have it's like kind of, oh, the woman can defend herself. This hour he went sorry. It's like, and he just beat the crap out of it. And I'm just like, okay, well, at least they kept that level of realism in there.
I'm genuinely intrigued by it, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. And just briefly, because I know your better half is on there. Silo, that was quite a good ending. It's not where the book finishes off, but it was a good ending. I do not know what they're going to do in series 2. I genuinely don't know. Because the star of this is Rebecca,
Okay, right.
Um,
I need to Haley Atwell one now, don't I?
you definitely
For
need that
when
for
we
next
talk about
week's.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. I
Fuck.
I did in I did enjoy Silo the final. I thought it was well done. I just don't know what they're going to do in season 2, because if it's like the book, it's a prequel. And season 3 will be where we see Rebecca again, and I can't see them doing that. So I think they're going to do it in flashback form, because the first book ends with us meeting a character, right? And then we get this flashback of who that person is and blah blah blah. I think they purposefully finished it where they did in this, so that we meet that character in season 2 and we get the flashbacks whilst keeping the story sort of flowing for the first part of the third book, if you know what I mean. But I love it because I've seen so many people that are speculating about the TV series and go, and none of them have got it. None of them have got it, right? The people that generally haven't sort of gone and read the novels, none of them have got it. None of them
It's
see
when they
what's
find
going
that
on.
it's when they find that wrecked city in the background's occupied by giant, scary penis monsters. That's when it's going to take a twist for the worst. Nothing to do with nanites. Nothing to do with nanites whatsoever. Even though it should be grey fucking goo. Everyone knows that. It's on a list of disasters. Grey goo is there for nanites. Top one.
I did enjoy Silo. I thought it was well cast. I really don't like the bloody judicial dude. Fucking, Tim Robbins. Yeah, you kind of Tim Robbins' character is more likable in a way than the judicial geezer. He needs to die. Yeah, I enjoyed Silo. You wanted to talk. You wanted to finish it off with like an Enterprise chat because you've finally watched what seasons 3 and 4.
3 and 4. Hang on, right. So just before we go, Superman Legacy casting, and then we can finish off on.
Oh yes, so Superman Legacy casting. So yeah, we got rid of Henry Cavill and cast young Henry Cavill. And a lot of people on the internet are going, what the fuck? Why didn't you keep Henry Cavill? Now, I know what the argument here is. They're recasting everything, right? So, it would have been weird if we kept Henry Cavill. I know that's what's going through his brain. But you cast Henry Cavill. Or you might as well be younger brother of Henry Cavill. And that grates a bit, because I wanted to see, that sort of cameo at the end of Black Adam, where Henry Cavill's back in the lighter suit. The suit's bright. The suit is more, just brighter and more hopeful. It's like, yeah, that's Superman. Right there, that's Superman. Now, I still like the Superman on the TV series. I generally think the guy that plays Superman on the TV series has been a really fucking good Superman. Why didn't you cast somebody in between the two of those? Why did you have to just cast son of Henry Cavill, effectively? The girl that they've cast as Lois. Lois. If you've ever watched, you will never have watched this, but a few people out there might have watched Mrs. Maisel. Genius. That I get. That she can play Lois. She can do Lois. I completely get that. But even with her being cast as Lois, I'm just like, I'm not sure I'm actually that fussed by another Superman movie. I'm kind of like, well, you've got that TV series and that's quite good. Do I need a movie?
I think because when the shit TV series outweigh the good ones and the shit movies outweigh the good ones, then fatigue sets in. That's when fatigue sets in. Seriously. I knew that, as I said, the Marvel train got off at Guardians of the Galaxy Station because that's it. I knew that was going to be the only one. That was the last person from the original run. Well, I say the original run, the original block of films that I liked. And they went. So it's that he's got off. But I do not envy James Gunn. He's going to have to really put in the story work with everything. And the other thing too, he needs to do the following and budget it. He needs to budget the fuck out of it, because at the moment, $300 million films aren't making him money. He needs to get it down to 150. And there's an easy way of doing it. Yeah, fire all the executive producers that you aren't using. If I see 23 executive producers on something and they're not from the banks that are bankrolling you, get rid of them.
But this is the thing, right? There's all this talk at the moment about superhero apathy, that people, are getting bored of superheroes. I would argue that is just Hollywood covering for themselves. It's not apathy. It's because there are no superheroes at the moment. After Endgame, there have been no heroes. You've destroyed them. You can't have male heroes. And I hate to say this, but male superheroes are still popular among both sexes, right? Women like a good superhero. Look at Aquaman. Sorry, but it's true, right? Men loved Aquaman. Women loved Aquaman.
No, not I
wife
loved
Aquaman.
No, my wife ain't going anywhere near Jason Momoa. I've decided that. She doesn't know it.
But you know what I mean?
Jason Momoa's in the area. No, she's not allowed anywhere near him.
Hollywood hasn't made a superhero film because they don't know how to do heroes anymore. They can't do male heroes, and their female heroes are just awesome right from the offset. Therefore, they're not really heroes. They haven't done a superhero movie since Endgame. They haven't. Gives nice Higgs, or did you mean hugs?
Higgs.
What have you been up to?
Excuse me, I've got to go check my wife. If Jason Momoa's downstairs, I'm going to be well upset.
My man.
I've got to fight him too. He's bigger than me. Gonna need an axe or something. I'm trying to for a weapon.
You're going to need something bigger than that. They haven't made a hero film. Why was Top Gun so popular? Because you had a hero. You had heroes, right? Why is Mission Impossible going to be so popular? Even though it's Tom Cruise, who's an absolute nut job, it's still going to be popular. Why? Because it's a hero. People need heroes. Right now, people need heroes. It's very easy. Just make a fucking superhero movie.
Right. That's the second most disturbing thing I've heard from your bloody mouth.
Jason Momoa is delicious. I mean, I'd consider flipping teams. I mean, I might as well at this point.
Right, hang on a second. He was playing some game called Lunch Lady, and he spent all his time on the floor looking up her skirt. Live on Twitch. And then he got hit this week with some explicit sexual crude language thing, because I checked up on Twitter this morning, because I only check Twitter like once a week, and I just saw it's like kind of him and a fellow streamer both got stamped with this channel's a bit on the rude side. You need to do that because of things.
I wanted to see her knickers.
Anyway,
why?
So disruptive.
But you know what I mean? I don't think there's superhero apathy because I don't think they've made a superhero film. Spider-Man 3 was popular because he was a hero, but it wasn't really Marvel.
Across the Spider-Verse was popular too. So
yes, but that's because Miles was a hero. So was Gwen. They were heroes. They had earned that. Gwen, okay, yes, it kind of went over into Gwen, but she earned that position. They showed us she wasn't immediately awesome. She fucked up. That's why, right? That was a good superhero movie. And surprise, surprise, it made money. Where's the apathy for that? There isn't any because people liked it. Because it was a fucking superhero film. They haven't made superhero films. Flash, it was never going to be popular because of Ezra Miller. That was already done and dusted. I get it, right? But all you have to do is make a superhero film and stop with all the political bullshit. Then you won't have apathy. But Marvel, no, we had to do this stupid blip thing, which fucked up everything, right? And then we had to just completely destroy all of our male heroes, take them all down, take all of our popular characters and do a great big fucking shit on them, because that is what we had to do. They've done it with Nick Fury, one of the most popular freaking characters in the Marvel thing. They've destroyed him. Why? For what?
Do you know what? There is a way around this, and it involves Adam Warlock. Just give him the Infinity Gauntlet and let him hit the undo button. Yeah. You can have Thanos back.
Yeah.
Just he hits the undo button, and then he gets punished by like Infinity and all the other ones like he did in the comic books.
The only way Marvel is going to save itself is stop with all this Disney plus bullshit. We don't need that, right? Give Robert Downey Jr. $100 million fucking dollars, he'll be back, right? Come up with some way to bring him back. Boom, here you go. You know, there we go. We don't even really need
found
Chris
him down
Evans.
the back, but hang on, given the quality of writers, it'll be we found him down the back of the sofa, along with a pen, some chewing gum, a polo, and a pound coin.
You're never going to get Black Widow back because, well, you screwed her, didn't you? But you could bring it back. Do Iron Man 4. Do Iron Man 4 with Iron Man. Not some freaking silly cow that is just immediately awesome for no reason whatsoever, and stick her in a bloody fucking kid's suit that my 6-year-old niece could have done a better job designing. No, I'm sorry. I have no love to seeing Marvel, and I have nothing. Yeah, sorry. Go on. You were going to say.
It's fine. I just said you move on to Star Trek so to finish on something nice.
Yes, let's talk about. Do you know what? Right, I'll say this. Last week's Strange New Worlds was quite good because Captain Pike was in it.
Oh my god, your standards are incredibly low.
Well,
the main character's in the episode.
He hasn't been in the first 3 episodes. He really hasn't. Your best character has not been in the first 3. Joe, some bloody person, like, I know they're trolling on Facebook. They said, you know, the second episode was the best episode of Star Trek ever. I was like,
have you watched Star Trek?
Yeah, that was my exact comment. Have you watched
what about
Star
Voyager,
Trek?
the Year of Hell, Part 1?
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, well, there's Enterprise season 3
Best
and 4.
of Both Worlds Part 1. So there seems to be a lot of Part 1s.
Yeah.
Way the Warrior. Yeah, in Deep Space Nine. What other ones? You got Drumhead. If you want something a bit more cerebral with the trumped up charges with the Romulan spy. What other ones we got? There's loads. Depends on your mood. I'll be honest with you. We should, because there's that many.
I have to say that it did feel like Star Trek this week. It did, right? There was none of the usual sort of crappy bullshit. It was genuinely quite good. It was an interesting episode. It brought back a planet that we'd heard before a lot about, and they actually did it. They did a good job. This week's episode was quite good. I'm not going to make you watch it because you'll probably swear at me, but it was quite good.
Oh, no, hang on. No, I've got a thing for you. If you want to make me watch it, I've got this.
You're a cunt.
Because you are. That's been incredibly rude. So, yeah. Star Trek. I watched Enterprise because I've been sitting on my ass in front of TV, not feeling very well, feeling sorry for myself. So I kind of watched the first 2 series and I gave up, and I reached one conclusion, which is something that really just put me off the entire fucking show. Do you know what that is?
What?
It's that fucking theme tune. I hate it with a passion. What the fuck? Who thought that was a good idea?
Rick Berman. I know.
And I'm just like, thank God there's a fucking skip function.
It's his turn.
Seriously,
Take it away,
every time I was having PTSD flashbacks every time it faded to black because I thought that fucking music was gonna come up. Yeah, halfway through the episode, there's no chance the music's gonna come up. Fade to black. Oh shit, it's gonna come on any moment now. So it grates on me.
But season 3 and 4 were quite good.
But season 3 and 4 were quite good. Apart from the Zindi sound like the Cindy. Yeah, like Barbie's friend. Barbie's friend's coming to destroy everyone. I liked the way that they told like serialized stories because Star Trek never did serialized stories properly. and it just seemed to. It was like, here's a bit of this serialized story. Here's a bit of this serialized story. It's an overall arc to it. Really appreciate that. I liked the fact that the ship got fucked up and never got repaired until they got home, which was always something that kind of, they had the reset in all the other Star Treks where everything would go back to normal. It was weird having the thing. I noticed some bits, like you had the bit of space that had been altered with a big sphere in the middle, and I was like, in a place called the Expanse. Where have I heard that before? I was like, oh yeah, I remember now. So you had things like that. There was things I could see where they pulled things from other shows and bits, but they were telling good stories, which I really appreciated.
I really enjoyed the Andorian stories in season 4, where you discover that other Andorian race. I that was generally a good bunch of episodes of Enterprise. So, good Star Trek.
Season 3, good one. I liked it. Had bigger overall arc. The season 4 was split into smaller arcs. Starts off with the what if aliens help the Nazis. Okay, fair enough. Which was good. Then they had the kind of the one after, which was the T'Pol gets married to some fucking rando.
Yeah.
And I was just like, kind of, dude, just do something. Just whip your Todger out. Do something, Trip, you fucking idiot. Right? Just literally during the wedding, just pull his willy out, wave it around a bit to distract everyone. I love you. Humans are irrational and illogical. And then you had the Augment one with Brett Spiner?
Brett Spiner, yeah.
They were good. I love the conclusion at the end. I think I was going to cybernetics. It's going to take a while. Maybe by the time Next Generation rolls around. I mean, a couple of generations. That was good. And then they had the Vulcan, the very irrational, illogical Vulcan running everything. The administrator.
Oh yeah, that was the one thing I didn't like about season 4 was they brought back an actor that had played the sort of badass admiral in the Deep Space Nine thing when there was a kind of a mini mutiny where Starfleet tried to have a coup basically, and Cisco and Thing talked to, and it was that actor. He was great in that role, but it was the same actor. He has a very
William
unique voice.
Foxworthy.
So I knew who he was, and he
Foxworth
couldn't play. He wasn't very good as a Vulcan. None of those were Vulcans. That didn't work for me.
See, that's the thing. Even though they purposefully, how can I put it, removed T'Pol's kind of ability to control her emotions in the 3rd series after she was shooting up hull plating. I can't remember what the hull plating stuff was called. Trillium D, I think. Yeah, shooting up hull plating into a neck. Yeah, which I just found fucking random. I'm sorry, I have no idea. Shooting up hull plating into a neck, and she damaged her ability to control her emotions as much, because I imagine the actress was like, kind of, I do need to express some kind of emotion of some sort. They did understand that Vulcans are not completely emotionless, and they do have like little tails. Yeah, like, oh look, there's a little twitch in mate's eye, which means he's angry. Yeah, and only really good actors and actresses can pull it off. They had that. You had Section 31 used properly.
Yes.
How they should do. Clandestine organisation being clandestine and secret.
Yep.
Which I appreciated. I loved the what's his mush, Jeffrey Combs.
Yes.
Who played Wei Yun in Deep Space Nine and come back as.
But he's better as the Andorian. That was
it was great.
That was his best role.
It was the bit where he turns up. He turns up at the end to help them fight the Xindi probe. And he beats it and he turns around and goes, tell Archer he owes me one now. And then he saves him again further on. He goes, now he owes me 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked the one thing I liked about Enterprise was how that relationship between him and Archer developed. And
you
generally enjoyed that.
Yeah. You can understand how they'd form an alliance through that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. They helped each other out. They helped each other's planets out. They have prevented wars together. That's it didn't come from nowhere. Because it would have been Michael Burnham. She would have turned up. She'd have been amazing. Yeah. Everyone would have just made peace. Where those two were like, shit. Yeah.
The guy that plays Trip and the guy that plays the British armory dude, they do a podcast called Shuttle Bay, right? And it's all about Trek and it celebrates Trek. They've had William Franks on it. which was good. But they've had Jeffrey Combs on a couple of times, and they're brilliant. They're really good episodes. He's a good guy, Jeffrey Combs, and I really
he had to be if they brought him back.
Yeah, I really
They brought
liked
back
him
to be
in
permanent.
Enterprise. He was one of my favourite characters in that.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's one of my favourites.
I wouldn't be amiss to seeing him turn up in Strange New Worlds or something, but they might ever bring him back in Legacy, which is blatantly happening.
I did like what they did where they explained why the Klingons lost their forehead ridges, because that was a throwaway comment in Deep Space Nine.
Yes,
that Worf term recipe. We don't talk about it. It's a shameful bit in our history, and I'm like, they actually based a story around that comment, and I'm like, that's not bad.
It was genius. It was very clever, and again, it made a lot of sense. Whereas again, Strange New Worlds has kind of largely ignored that. But I mean, as Steve said, Strange New Worlds. Look, I get why a lot of people like this. I did not like the first episode. The second episode was better. The first episode was dreadful. The third episode was it was okay. I just don't like the guy they've cast as Kirk, but it was a good episode. If it had been not Kirk, right? If that guy had been playing a different captain, that would have worked for me. That would have been a really good episode of Star Trek, right? You go back, you kind of see Khan Noonien Singh, the whole freaking "do we kill Hitler" thing, very cleverly done. Actually, I'll give you that, right? But the thing that took me away from it was thingy. But the thing I like about you mentioned about serialized Trek, and this is why I come back to Strange New Worlds. I am kind of finding the episode a week thing kind of refreshing, because and I know that I've always said I prefer the long tell stories, and I do. And Picard season 3,
the problem is you prefer long tell stories competently written.
Exactly,
because you have standards. That's the issue.
Thank you.
That's what it is. It's not the fact that you don't like it. It's the fact that it should be done well. Because you look at, like as I said, the Enterprise pulled it off quite well.
But I mean, I don't like who they've cast as Kirk, and it's not Kirk. It doesn't work for me. That bit, but it was a good episode taking that bit out of it. This week's episode was good. I hate to say this, actually. This has been a better take away that first episode. The next 3 stories have been quite good. Yeah, I agree with you. Bifford, Gav got me hooked on B5 because of that. He said that.
Yeah. I pre-ordered my copy of B5. I'm looking forward to it in 4K.
Yeah.
So just going through it, and then you had I described to my wife as the sexy universe, which was the Mirror Darkly one, where everyone's like
those two were good.
Where everyone was like having sex, and they seemed more competent than they did in the regular universe. I realised something. You remember that in Star Trek Discovery they were like, oh, they hid the logo of the Terran Empire in the imagery and stuff. I watched that episode and I realised, no, they fucking didn't. They got it wrong because they did. But saying that, they did pay attention to it because Hoshi was. Wow, I love that. Of all the characters, she's just sitting there and she's literally sucking everyone's dick. And then at the end of it, I'm now in charge. I loved it. It was just. And then it's funny because I'm like, don't take this the wrong way, but because her being Asian, and then you have Giorgio as the Emperor.
Yeah, no, that was a direct reference. Giorgio comes from her as the Emperor. That's referenced in Discovery. I will give Discovery its due. It references that Enterprise episode, right? And there's another reference, the Defiant, because that's the ship that's in it.
Right. So the Defiant. Apparently, that's in there's an episode in the original one where they reference a ship that's gone missing and come back. And I can't remember. I'm terrible with the original series. I think I can only remember the first part of it, and I don't even think Sulu was around in the ones I can remember, which isn't a bad thing.
And look, yeah, those mirror episodes were quite good. Were quite good.
I just love the fact that all the ladies just had to show their midriff as part of their uniform. I always got annoyed because so Pow was obviously the fucking eye candy. Like 7 of 9 was in Voyager, yeah. So then we always made her wear like tight like clothing. Error of Nuts magazine, I describe it as, yeah, which is fine. That's fine. But I don't know because I've aged. Yeah, there's a game called Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain. Yeah, and there's a character in that called Quiet, and she runs around pretty much in a bikini with a sniper rifle. Okay. Now I couldn't have that, so the first thing I did, the first opportunity I had to get her into uniform, like the rest of my men, I did. So that's the kind of person I've turned into in my old age. It's like kind of like Lara Croft when we were talking about things, the video game. That I was like, she'd run around in shorts and t-shirt, and I'm like, oh, maybe she's cold. Maybe she needs to put a jacket on. Just
excuse me. Who introduced me to Nude Raider?
I didn't introduce you to Nude Raider. That was Dave.
Was it?
Right, it was Dave.
Okay.
Anyway,
but
but
I need to just
go.
address a comment here. Biffa said that some people say Paramount streaming service is for sale. Paramount's going to close its streaming service. It's almost a dead cert. Here's the thing, right? Legacy's going to get made. I think Amazon are going to bankroll it, but there is a persistent rumor that Apple want to buy it. Apple want Trek. That has been.
Are you sure
persistent.
Apple don't want Paramount?
No, they want
because there's rumours
Trek.
that they've been after a big TV thing. They were going for
yeah,
MGM.
but they actually want Sci-Fi because Sci-Fi is where their money is rolling. I mean, you know, some of their most popular series on Apple are Sci-Fi related.
Ted Lasso wasn't Sci-Fi.
Ted Lasso is one of the only non-sci-fi things that's done as well as their Foundation has done well. Foundation's done well. That's why we got a season 2.
Oh, right? I fucking can't. Sorry, I can't stand that.
Season 2 looks interesting, but again, it probably shouldn't be shit. But they want big sci-fi projects, and what bigger project can you get than Trek? You know, you're never going to get Star Wars, so you get Trek.
Hang on a second. Could Star Trek be so desperate to claw back eyeballs we get female birthday suit scenes? Well, they came really close to in Enterprise several times. Several times. Where it's like kind of
that has been really kind of criticised, and I have to admit,
in tone, it's closer to TOS than it is to TNG.
True, but you know, I'm enjoying Strange New Worlds more than I thought I was going to. I will say that the last couple of episodes I've enjoyed way more than I thought I was. I'm not saying they're great, but I have enjoyed them more than I thought I was going to. But you know, I enjoyed Prodigy, and I'm kind of gutted I'm not going to see season 2 because I'm still a Voyager fan, and that was very close to Voyager, and it was kind of like a natural sequel to Voyager. But if they make Legacy, you can get rid of all of this. You can cancel the whole lot. Just give me Legacy. And I don't care where it's made. Apple TV, fine. Okay. Just give Terry Metalis the keys. We can cancel everything else. Make Legacy. Bring back DS9 characters. You can bring back every fucking character that you want. Awesome. I'll have that. I'll have that.
Just to go back to Enterprise, I just want to talk about probably Enterprise's worst episode, which happened to be the last one, called Hero of the Voyages.
Yeah, it was joking.
Now, right, hang on a second. There was an easy way of remedying this, and all they had to do is they had to put it in the previous Terra Prime Part 2 or whatever it was episode that happened beforehand. And all they had to do is just have Jonathan Frakes appear in the background, just so you go, that Jonathan Frakes. It's Jonathan Frakes, like that. And it's like, gets to the end of the episode, it cuts to them doing their little conference thing. He stands in front of them, and then he turns around and goes in program, and then makes some speech about the contributions and stuff they made. That would have worked. But instead of that, they did the Joey gets fired from that TV show where he falls down an elevator shaft premise with Trip, which just made me go, oh yeah, by the way, because before, if you'd left it there, it would have been, oh, there's a chance that Trip and T'Pol got together, maybe they had some kids. I don't want to know, yeah? Which is fine. That's fine. So we could have had that. But, no, they were like kind of, no, Trip dies, T'Pol goes off on her own, just miserable for the rest of her life. Yeah, the only person who gets anything out of it is Archer. All right? That's it. Boom. Yeah? Mayweather... Yeah. He died. He tragically died in a toilet-related accident. Phlox killed by paracetamol, and and Hoshi she got killed by an Alexa when it became sentient and got annoyed with her. It's so it was so crap. It should have been just like smidged down to a 20-minute webisode sort of thing, if that made any sense. It was. The one thing I did like, yeah, Was I got to see the old Enterprise, the D, and I've got the D. Everybody wants the D.
Yeah, I mean, I look, I get why people think, but I mean, Enterprise. It was a shame that they had to bring the next gen. Look, I love the next gen crew.
Love it. Trip falls down the lift shaft for the podcast listeners.
So many reasons why you find that funny that he probably doesn't understand. He works for a lift company. Sorry, he works for a lift company. That's the other reason he's laughing.
We don't just do lifts. We do a lot of other things too. We just bulk of our stuff is lifts.
Fucking hell. Sorry, I'm reacting to a comment. I'm not going to read that one out for the podcast users.
I heard Hershey's. Oh, I can't remember. I can't fucking say her name now.
Anyway,
exploded.
God, space herpes. Yeah, that was a terrible final episode. And Enterprise did get cancelled just as it was getting good. And it's a shame. And yeah, the next. It's funny. That was the last good Star Trek until Picard season 3. If you don't include Prodigy, that's
the test. If you're an engineer, that is the test. If you're an engineer, if you have to say righty tighty, lefty loosey. I said this in the meeting because I'm not an engineer. I work with engineers, and they went righty tight, lefty loosey, and they went, "Oh yeah, you're right." You would be. You would be.
Yeah, you will be. You will be. There's my Star Wars line. But no, you're right about that. The terrible episode. I don't actually think it needed Riker in it. That episode takes the idea was that it was Riker talking to Deanna Troi, and the reason he was watching all that was just before he went up to Picard to admit he was complicit.
Told him about the metaphasic shield.
Yeah.
Cloak. Sorry, metaphysic.
Yeah,
cloak,
the cloak thing. And whilst it worked as a next gen episode, exception of killing off Trip, right? Had next gen still been on and they'd done that as like a next gen episode, that would have been good. But it's the final of Enterprise. No, Enterprise didn't need them. Enterprise had done enough to stand on its own. Do you know what I mean? Those characters had earned their place, and it's almost like they got slapped down at the end. And even Berman's admitted that.
I'll be honest with you. Out of all the characters, Boss's Mayweather was the one that felt so fucking underdeveloped.
Yes, I agree with you.
He was he was just like forgotten. He was the Harry Kim of Enterprise.
Yeah, he was.
Did true. I send you the Harry Kim meme?
Yes, you did.
I did send you the Harry Kim meme. Oh, hang on a second. I'm going to bring that one up.
I do.
Keep going.
I mean, I am slightly gutted that they cancelled Prodigy because I actually did enjoy it. A lot of people, one of the podcast guys was on like singing its praises, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's a cartoon. Oh, it's terrible," without actually watching it. And
I didn't send you the Harry Kim meme. Sorry.
I thought you had.
No. It's. Oh, let me find it. It's funny.
If you've not seen Prodigy and you're a Trek fan and you enjoyed Voyager, you should. Certainly, the latter half of that season is a love letter to Voyager, and it should be watched. And I know that they've made season 2, so I wonder why Paramount's cancelled it where it is now. You could be right that it's for sale. I do think they're making Legacy. I think they'd be mad not to. I don't think we're going to see a season 3 of Strange New Worlds, but we might. Because people, I think, are watching it, and I have to say it's better than I thought it was going to be. On a side note, I don't think Valtrex treats space herpes. Just saying.
Keith, you need to go onto his. What do you call it? Stream.
Yeah, I need to get him back. Right. You're gonna let me rip. You're gonna let me go because I am really contained in this show. And he will tell you that. I am contained. I'm warning you.
I cannot find that. I really cannot find that bloody. It's like kind of. It's Chakotay and Janeway trying to coax. It looks like trying to coax a child, and it's like Harry Kim going, "I'm not going to fall for it again."
Yeah, no, I'm glad you've finally seen those Enterprise episodes because you can put into context now what I was talking about with the Klingons, because they actually did it properly. They explained the flat foreheads. They explained it. So this
And
is
it
why
didn't
most
seem shit.
this is why
More
most
importantly.
of fucking Discovery and New Trek has not made sense. And it's like, it's only when Worf came back in Picard season 3 and looked like a Klingon that some hope was restored.
Yeah.
When I turn off the AC to have more power in my car, how it really is, I feel like, yep.
This is an upsetting one. Well, Star Wars fans wanted. Star Trek fans got. Oh, it's quite good, and then it's body's not. That's the one thing I liked. And then
It's true.
I just can't get over my phobia. I'm afraid of the Backstreet Boys. Tell me why.
Oh dear.
Anyway,
he thinks he'll disgust me.
the guy got a warning put on his Twitch account because he's that vulgar.
I can be too. Don't worry. I'm dialed back. People got upset when I kept saying the C word on here a lot. People told me you've got to stop using that C word, so I don't actually say it very often now, but I used to say it quite a lot. And I could be quite vulgar. Anyway, I think we're done for a week.
I think we're done for a week.
We've spoken about a lot, and we'll cover some more. Yeah, it's an extra warning. I think we'll cover more next week when we come back. Mission Impossible next week. Hopefully, I'll get to see it before the radio shows up because I am looking forward to that.
For the radio show, did you say? This is going to be a radio show, Mission Impossible?
My wife calls it a radio
antiquated.
show. It's a podcast, sorry.
Okay.
But yes, Backstreet Boys.
Oh my God! Do you remember the Backstreet Boys? We did it. He wore a Star Trek uniform too.
Yeah, it's
Imagine the Backstreet Boys. But
it's coming flooding back. There's been a lot of alcohol since then. There was a lot of alcohol that night, but there's been a lot of alcohol since then as well. But yes,
I wonder where that tape had gone.
I think it's probably hiding somewhere in one of my dad's boxes in the garage. I bet you it's still there. Yeah, he did come out in a Star Trek uniform. That bar.
Okay, all right. So before we go, just like to say that I don't know if I might be on with Beer Stupid Gamer on Beer Stupid Gamer's channel on Twitch. Notice that when you go on it says may contain vulgar and upsetting language, and just notice that when you go on.
That's a badge of honor. That is.
And then log in. And then log in to see if the game's running. I don't know what time it's about 9ish. I'll probably join about 9ish our time. But he's got a friend called Echo. Go on her channel and watch it on her channel instead, alright? Just remember that, okay? And did he leave any poos on your comments on your videos, Keith?
Most of them did, you bastard.
They pooed all over your comment section.
Even Baxter did as well. You
double yes.
See, I'm really nice. I've never made any sort of derogatory brummy comments. You carry on, son. You carry on. God, got a bag full of them.
Oh my God, Keith!
I might just go back over his channel and just put Bovril. I'll put Bovril all over his comments.
It's the least offensive thing I could think of.
And
on that note,
right. See you next week, guys. Take care.
Oh, hang on.